I always go back and forth in my head on whether or not having a particular art style is important or not. I don't think I've been painting long enough to have a particular art style that somebody can identify me with. But I always think like that should be a thing though, right? Like I should focus on one style and get really good at it and then keep doing that style. But I cannot stick with a style for that long either. Like I like to try other things. And I don't know if that's because I'm a new artist and I'm just trying things out. But I did digital art the last 6 years. And that was kind of my struggle too, identifying what my style was, because I liked to try new and different things. There were particular things that I enjoyed doing, but then there was also work that I had to do, contract work and stuff that I had to do. So it wasn't stuff that I found enjoyable or particularly my style, but it was things that people wanted from me. Now, as an abstract painter the last couple years, I've been testing the waters and trying to find my style in this world as well. And I haven't found anything that has completely stuck, but there has been so many things that I love so much. So that's why today's episode is called I'm an Artist with No Art Style.
Thank you for tuning into My Day on Canvas podcast by Summer Silvery. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This podcast is available to stream on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. All links are in the description of this episode, including my art shop, artbysummersilvery.com.
I know the whole don't compare yourself to other people, you are your own person, blah, blah, blah stuff. Like I get that, I know it, but I'm going to just go there for a second and just say, so if you're going to a particular artist's social page, let's say on Instagram, you look at their feed and their art, it's all different color palettes and stuff like that, but the aesthetic is the same. The style is the same. The tools that they use, the mediums that they have, they're the same. They found their niche and they've stuck with it and it looks stunning. Like everything just flows well together. That's something I feel like I will never get to. I hope when I look back at this, I'm like, well, I got there, I got to that point, but I haven't gotten there yet. Part of me sometimes feels like there's something wrong with not getting to that point where I have a certain style. And then other times I just go, okay, well, I just haven't played around enough. I haven't found my shtick, or however you say that. And as I'm talking about this, I'm just thinking to myself, okay, it's not really that big of a deal. Just keep creating art and then you'll find your thing. As you can see, there are a ton of conflicting emotions that I have about this particular subject. And that's because I do not know for sure if it's even something that matters at all in the art world. Just creating art, making it the best that you can, and figuring it out for yourself. Because what I've found as an artist is that a lot of my work changes due to either events in my life or what I'm going through or my mood for the day, what I'm feeling, and it just kind of organically comes out and it just is what it is. I want to share a particular instance with you where this had happened. I had created a painting that was so different than what I usually paint that it scared me. Like it scared me. I didn't even want to finish the piece, but I did. And that was a huge lesson to me, and it turned out to be one of my favorite paintings that I have, and I will not sell it ever. But basically, all of my art that I create is bright and happy and colorful. That is a pattern that I have in my art, and it's just something that I've always gravitated to is bright colors. Well, this one was super dark. It was black and gray and red, and it was all just like a dark color, and then in the center it looked like a box, and I had used red and like a bright red and black pouring paint at some point in the layers of my painting. And what had happened when I stepped back from it is it looked like the center of my painting was a box, and there was some black pouring paint in there and there was red pouring paint mixed in. The red pouring paint looked like an outline of a person that was bleeding or something, and the black and everything looked like a cage. But the abstractness of the painting made it look like, from different perspectives I guess you could have, that the person was either clawing themselves out of or into this cage. And it was crazy because I was painting that while going through this exact same issue I was having with not having a particular art style, feeling like I had to fit inside of a particular box so that I was able to identify myself a certain way so that I could sell my art a certain way or to a particular audience or whatever. Because if I knew what my art style was and I could identify what I could do consistently on a daily basis and produce this, and this is what it'll look like, then I would succeed or something like that. To create a painting like that, something that I've never created ever in my entire life, to the point where it scared me so much because I thought of it as being way too dark for me. And I'm like, what the heck is coming out of me? I didn't want to finish it. And I am so happy that I did. I stepped back for a little bit and then I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to finish it. There's a reason why I'm doing this. And I'm so happy that I did, because the symbolism of that to me was so important, and just a reminder of like, don't kill yourself trying to fit into a particular area. And I look back on that particular instance and I'm like, if I tried to force myself into a specific niche with my artwork, and I was just like, nope, this isn't the way that it usually goes, so I'm just not going to do it, I wouldn't have been able to experience something like that. Paintings like that have that much of an impact on you, where they scare you, you don't want to finish it, but then you finish it and you realize that it's telling you something. Those are the kind of paintings I want to create. That is art to me, where it gives you a certain emotion or a roller coaster of emotions. That is the kind of style that I want to have. It's definitely easy to get caught up in what other people are doing and how they're doing it, but ultimately it always comes down to the way that you do it. But the most important thing to do is create. Everything else will fall into place, but do what you feel like you need to do to find the kind of artist that you are. I feel like I needed to tell myself that, because that just made me smile. And we couldn't have ended on a better note to wrap up episode 8. I want to thank you guys so much for listening to episode 8 of My Day on Canvas. I will meet you at the next one.